Ustedes a este que es el irlandés.
So obviously, Oisin, as you kind of alluded to there before, you know, in a new country, over in Oklahoma, I know you've been there a couple of years, but learning, I suppose, a new sport, because you were relatively new to professional boxing. I suppose, how tough was it, and you know, the skill set, I suppose, that was required for to carry out your job, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it was really so the new job thing, I suppose, was it was quite an exciting time for me because I was starting my school teaching. I was teaching Latino kids whose favourite sports were boxing and football, and that's where I came from. So I suppose the skill set, the thing that I was my forte, I suppose my best traits were that I was particularly tough and very, very fit. So I had to learn loads of skills, but
you naturally had that, so you were.
I had a natural fitness from the football, but you're using different muscles and all that. So it's it was very different. But I always kind of kept in the back of my mind that I was tougher than anybody else, and you know, even to this day, I'm not afraid of any person. Afraid of ghosts. You can't beat up ghosts, right? But I'm not afraid of anybody. So always in the back of my mind, that's kind of my something that G's me up. And so whether people are beating me up or not in the boxing ring, I know I'll be there at the end.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of how I roll, I suppose.
I suppose, Oisin, a defining moment in your career, whether you like it or not, was the Amir Khan fight.
Oh, no.
That dreaded fight, as you say.
Yeah.
But no, I suppose, you know, in contrast to what, you know, the media or the papers might say, what I really took from it was kind of, it just epitomises, I suppose, the strength and the resilience, I suppose, and not only the physical strength, but the mental strength, as you, as a sports person, but as a person as well, to be able to continue with a broken leg. Like,
I hate talking about that fight normally, but it's it was just such a nightmare of a night because I was quite confident going into the fight. I knew how brilliant he was. He was a world champion. He was an Olympics silver medalist, I think he was. So they were putting me in there just as a patsy, you know. But I really had in my mind that, like, because of what I said to you earlier on as well, I knew it was tough. I says I'll probably take a beating, but I'll give it a go. And maybe during that fight I hit him with a big overhand right, and we'd seen him in trouble before with overhand rights and up and around his temples. That's where we had decided that he was most vulnerable.
12 menetet kijött még közösségnek parás első menetet hozzak, amikor demonstrálni azt, hogy...
So I was throwing big looper shots so that I could catch him on the top of the head, and he was a lot taller than me, so I had to get up and over them, you know.
Teljesen szétesett a mozgása.
But he was when I was in there, he was particularly quick, really quick. He's the fastest of all the world champions that I'd fought, and he was just bombing quick, really quick, and so I remember hitting him with a good shot, and as I pulled out a little bit, he hit me with a kind of a chopping overhand right, and it caught me on the chin. And normally I would have taken that and would have been fine, but I just remember that my leg went from under me. It kind of felt like it folded. Yeah. I don't know, it was just a strange sensation, and I heard a snap. I was going, oh, I'm in trouble here now. And I was on the ground, I was going, and what goes through my mind is that, oh, so many people are watching me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so, like it's live on Sky Sports. But in my mind, it's I have to get up, and I have to fight on. I don't want anybody. And the thing is that in football, I suppose you can, the more that you act that you're hurt, the referee comes in, he looks after you and all this kind of. But I had to pretend that I wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
So here I am, broken leg. I was going, I have to get up, and I have to. And I remember having to actually climb up the ropes as I was getting up because I just couldn't put any weight on the thing. And so I said, I was thinking to myself, right, the first step is going to be vital. I don't know what's going to happen. So I put my foot in the ground and just the agony.
Yeah.
I was in agony, you know. But I just kept on throwing punches, and I think he wasn't even landing shots on me at the time. But I think one of the first times I put my foot on the ground, I just fell over again. And so I think I went down probably 4 times without actually getting punched. I think in the last stanza he came in, he threw a good few punches, and I tried to throw an overhand right, and I think I was falling because the momentum was taking me over. And Mickey Van, who was the referee at the time, he'd refereed me before, and he knew that I was tough and that I wouldn't go down normally, and so he jumped on me so to stop me from getting up the last time. And then I think he wrecked my leg even worse. Then I was going, oh, I'm in awful pain. He's going, oh, that's it, that's enough, son. I was going, right, no, let me up. I was trying to ask him to let me up, and he was just like a wrestler, pinning me down to the ground. So listen, it was just a horrible night. The worst thing about the night was that I obviously didn't know it was broken until the next day, until I went to the hospital. But I'm sure that if Amir had broken his leg, first of all, I don't think he would have fought on. But second of all, it would have been everywhere. The cameras would have been around. The interviewees or the interviewers would have been around, and the journalists, and they would have highlighted the fact that he had a broken leg. And sure, what can you do with a broken leg? But it went on and on. Now, in fairness, a few of the Irish journalists got the story in the end, and they did highlight that I broke my leg. But sure, it was about a week afterwards, and so everybody's just thinking. The worst thing for me was that people were thinking, "Oh, your man's just brutal," especially that I was coming out and I was throwing those kind of amateur shots, because I identified that that's where he was in trouble with his around the top of his head, and I had to get up and over. So my boxing, while it wasn't glamorous anyway, my boxing style, it was rough, and I just had to make it extra rough, and that was my whole plan, was to make it as rough as I could for him, because he was such a nice boxer and so quick. But I have to say, I don't take anything away from Amir, because obviously it wasn't his fault that my leg broke, and he was the quickest fighter I'd ever fought. So in fairness to him, he done alright, you know.